fantastic. This is GT Racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rhythm, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Oh. Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Section's very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, here we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
It all comes down to this, a track which many holds as maybe a secondary track, a tertiary track in the world of racing. But when it comes to action, when it comes to what it delivers, it always delivers. Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the final round of the Porsche iRacing Cup, the Porsche eSports Supercup qualifiers. And what great stories we have going in. The battle almost all but sealed up in terms of the Porsche iRacing Cup standings. Peter Berryman ahead of Jeff Giassi by nearly 100 points, and that should be all signed and delivered here with the drop rounds in play. Giassi looking to cement himself as your first qualifier in the Porsche eSports Supercup with Berryman's non-eligibility. That's going to be something to keep a mind out on. But you also have 5 drivers fighting for 3 places overall. You've got the likes of Carl Janssen. You have the likes of Julian Rodriguez Moreno on the outside looking in. You've got Brian Lockwood, who's just qualified. Alexius Yakala, who's just there waiting. Vecchio literally qualified in the last hour or so. You've got the likes of Kim Eriksson there trying to get himself into the mix, as well as Mark Perez. It is a very, very close for battle as qualifying is currently underway on the iRacing Esports Network, brought to you by SimSpeed TV. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Sperry in the commentary box, joined with Jay Kennedy, who is also double duty on cameras for this one. But Jay, it's important. A lot of drivers found out they qualified this week. They worked out the points. They worked out, I don't have to show up for this one. And as such, we've got the lowest strength of field we have had all season long, and it's by a very big margin. It means that drivers like Kim Eriksson may be out already because they needed a win with a strength of field around 7.5K. You look at someone, say now, like Julian Rodriguez Moreno, who needed top 3. He now probably needs to win or bust.
Yeah, exactly right. It's going to change how a lot of these drivers tackle this race as well. They're going to be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that they've got to lay it all on the line to try and get position 1 or 2. So it's going to be some high-stakes racing out there, which I think is going to mean we're going to be in for a hell of a show. It's going to be a really, really entertaining race. Number one, this track always puts on good racing anyway in touring cars or sports cars and things like that. So we know we're going to have a good race to start with as Ericsson goes 5th. And the second part of it is that we know now, with the way that the points have played out, that there's so many drivers that have everything to gain and nothing to lose from going all guns blazing to try and win the race. I think we're going to have one heck of an impressive show as Yao Vaz goes first.
He does, and that was a 206.999, so he breaks the 207 barrier. But unfortunately for Yao Vaz, he is position 23 in the championship, and he is just mathematically impossible to get himself through to the next stage. So Yao Vaz, unfortunately, he'll have to race for pride over the course of this one. Mark Perez there in second. Alexander Lauritsen, another driver, out in terms of qualifying. Oriel Bowe, another one out in terms of qualifying. They are third, they are fourth at the moment. And this is where you probably needed your friends to turn up here and effectively stack the soft up, because you knew that drivers were not going to be here, Jay. You knew that drivers were going to struggle in terms of getting that replacement. The lowest guy in terms of iRating here is 4.5K, which has now become the average benchmark when it comes to professional iRacing, where 3.5K about 5 years ago used to be brilliant, you really needed some friends to come in and help you out for this one.
You look at the names of the drivers that we haven't got here tonight that have been race winners in this series. Mac Backham, not here. Dane Warren, not here. Josh Anderson, not here. So there's 3 race winners that we've had in our 11 rounds so far. Max Verstappen as well, so 4. We knew that Max wasn't going to be here, but those 4, that is a huge increase in iRating and skill and talent in this field. So those 4 drivers not being here, the positive is that Berryman's here to help improve his overall chances of sealing the Porsche iRacing Cup Championship for this season, which looks like he's probably got. But yeah, a little bit disappointing to see some of the teams haven't worked it out to try a few extra drivers in, but we'll go through the grid anyway.
We certainly will. Yao Vaz will be on pole position, 206.999. Mark Perez alongside the number 4, needing to seal his place. Alexander Larritzen and Oriol Bowe starts on the second row. They are both drivers out of the championship. Carl Janssen starts from 5th position. He needs the points. He's the man on the bubble in 20th. Julian Rodriguez, the man directly behind him, though, is in 6th place and must win to keep his hopes alive. Peter Berryman is 7th. Alexius Yakala in 8th. Jeff Giassi 9th, who is your Porsche Esports Supercup first qualifier. And then Kim Eriksson, probably on the outside looking in now in 10th.
He's got a big ask to come back through. Has to really win this race now. Perez in P11 with Happela in position 12. Then we've got Tesdalen and Kim in positions 13 and 14 on row 7. Row 8 is Burse and Rodriguez with Rakoff and Corpy, and Vietmeyer and Greg Stewart rounding out the 10th row.
And then you've got the likes of Richard Skender, 21st, Ross Banfield's there in 22nd, then 3 that didn't qualify, Gianni Vecchio, Brian Lockwood, and Marcio Campos making the 25-car grid. And 25 cars actually does make life slightly easier for drivers in the field, a little bit higher in the championship. They know that the points are very much worked out by how many drivers are in the championship. So if there are more drivers in this race, say there's 25 drivers here today, which is a lot for this sort of series, it means that points margins become less and you need lesser places to get the similar sorts of points. That will be playing in Carl Janssen's mind, but you do not write out how this is going to be for a race. This is going to be a very tough challenge. MSI Esports rows 1, 2, and 3 all on the outside. Peter Berryman there in 7th. It's all to play for here. There's the green flag. 11 laps. They start now. Larritzen, shocking start. Great start from Carl Janssen there from the second row and third row even. Dives to the outside looking for 3rd position already. Berryman has already slotted the way through. Giassi trying to follow in the footsteps here. They go into turn 1. Baz is unchallenged, but into 3rd already there. Alexander Larritzen, but there are drivers looking every which way to get through. I think we've got dramas in the background potentially. Yes, we do. One off, that's Cyril Rodriguez, and also with Greg Stewart as well. David Burst in the fence. Kim, Lockwood, all caught up. And now, slow down penalty there for what is going to be Carl Janssen as well. Janssen's dropping backwards.
Yep. Very, very disastrous start for a few drivers there, but Janssen being one of them. Yeah, Vaz is under a lot of pressure. Oh, 3 wide in the background as well, but it's on for the lead. And it's on for that mid-pack as well, 3 wide.
Oh no! It's Julian Rodriguez, of all people, of all times, at this time of year. Nostradamus is going to be hit again. No. A big hit. Rodriguez up and over. His championship is over.
Janssen around as well.
Janssen's around as well. That won't matter anymore because Julian Rodriguez is out and the championship is secure unless Kim Eriksson wins for some magical reason. But look at where Kim Eriksson is right now. He's behind Gianni Vecchio and Ilkka Haapala. I'd say the championship is wrapped up with a nice, neat bow.
Let's have a look again and see what's happened there. We'll get a replay of what happened at the original start. But Janssen as well around, but Marino just got into that 3 wide and yeah, strange one there. Probably
it was all the title rivals.
Yeah, it was. They all come together. And then the second impact, Eriksson and Janssen. Eriksson actually rolled as well.
Wow. Wow. So there you caught it there on the motion simulation replay. A rollover is never nice to see as we get ourselves back live to racing action at the moment, and some brilliant stuff that's going on right now. Side by side, that's Gianni Vecchio making your way past Ilka Harpala in the Orion race team car. Very comfortable move there. Kim Eriksson can't find a way through, but one lap will be score complete. It will be Yao Vaz who leads this race outright. Second position, Alexander Larritzen, and third is Marc Perez at the moment. So Marc Perez up in third position. Will need to get past Larritzen here, up into second. Berryman is there in fourth position. Then it's Giassi in position number 5. He'll be hoping that a drop round has to be used by Peter Berryman. He's only got 200 points in the bank, which is his drop round for the moment, but you never know. Oriol Bow running wide. Alexius Jakala makes his way through. Jakala's 19th in the championship, a driver with iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series victories to his name, Jay, and now pretty much safe for this next season coming.
And how good's that too? Remember, he didn't start at the start of the season, had to come through in the latter half of the season. He's done a great job as Perez trying to get this move done at the front, and Larritzen not quite able to do it. And Berryman, I must say, Berryman's had a great start. Remember, started 7th. He's already up into 4th, challenging these guys at the front. So this is a good start for Berryman. This lead pack is definitely not settled. These front 4 breaking away from everyone else. And it will be between these 4, you'd think, for the race win.
And you have to remember as well, this is a deceptively long lap around this place, 6.44 kilometers. It's almost as long as Spa-Francorchamps, for example. It's only half a kilometer shorter than that. So a very long track, a very quick and ferocious track. It doesn't have any real hairpins to speak of, so you have to be right alongside to make these moves. Second train, Danny Corpi under pressure. This is Gianni Vecchio, and then you've got Remkov, Harpala, and Skender there. Ross Banfield holding off Kim Eriksson going backwards, which is not exactly what he wants at the moment. But let's go back forward again, because Marc Perez looking on the back of Alexander Larritzen here through the Kettle Bottoms, looking towards the Canada corner out on track. And well, go to Canada as much as you like. You're not going to find an overtake there.
They're really got to set that up all the way from the carousel to get the move done. And Perez didn't quite get the exit through the carousel. Probably was too close to Larritzen into the carousel to get the momentum. So now he's got to try and do it down the front straight. And I must say that Perez is probably under more pressure from Berryman behind than he is applying pressure to Larritzen at the moment. Berryman's just sitting back, watching and waiting. And you can almost tell in the way that Berryman's driving. He's sensing a mistake coming from Perez. As we said, these guys are going to be very, very aggressive. And as you can see on the timing, Berryman was the fastest out of this group. Now Giassi, fastest car out on track.
Yep, a 2:09 flat means he's quicker, but slightly wide. There goes Larritzen, and suddenly here comes the opportunity. Perez will not take it into turn number 3. He wants to set it up through the Moraine sweep to the prime overtaking opportunity. That's turn 5 out on track, and it is where the incident happened earlier on for his teammate and title hopeful. So now Marc Perez knows he's got to close in the draft, but there is that help. It's always coming along, that draft train in full effect. This is a drafting circuit, and João Vaz is the great equalizer at the moment, and that very much tells you all you need to know. In fact, the fastest man, oh, Larritzen, that's very deep on the brakes. Sorry, he just snagged the rear and had to slide it through. He's done well to gather it back up again, but he nearly ran into the back of the race leader.
And good job from Vaz. He actually saw it too. Just opened up the wheel a little bit to make sure that there wasn't contact. So good job from all of those guys. But I'm wondering if that's actually scared Vaz a little bit, because that next section, he didn't look quite as strong as he had previously. And Perez will be watching this going, oh, hang on, there's some mistakes. And I must say, Jeff Giassi's closing in on these guys pretty quickly as well. So
Fastest man last lap.
yeah, exactly. He's going to be right there, probably at the end of this lap. You would think that he's going to be in this train. Considering how much draft there is around this circuit, he'll close in pretty quick.
Considering he wants the points to beat Peter Berryman, but he knows that Jeff Giassi's drop rounds are very, very circumspect, and he may only gain 150 points, which is all that he needs, but he knows that Peter Berryman will be scoring some good points here from this race, so he's got to get by and hope that Berryman probably runs into mistakes if he wants the overall championship, which I think may just be a little bit too far out of reach for these drivers and these calibers, unless something big happens through the front 5 as they continue on their way to lap 4 of this event. It is worth noting that Gianni Vecchio has got by Danny Corpi, and that was for 9th position on the road. So Corpi looking back at Rakoff and Harpala. Ross Banfield's a little bit too far back at the moment for the second train. Kim Eriksson, he's got big, big damage. He's going backwards. He was looking now backwards towards Greg Stewart, no relation to Tony.
back on for the lead too. Yeah, Vaz really, really shallow on the exit off turn 1 and up through turn 3. Laritz thought about making a move after a great run down the hill. Flash of the headlights, and have a look at how close Giassi is now. Did the fastest lap of the race last lap by as well. So he is flying along, happily closing in on this train, but it is on for the lead. We're going to go 3 wide here. You can sense it.
Well, not quite 3 wide, but down the inside, trying to open up the door. It has to be left open here. Laritson's done well to pick the pocket apart, but now up to turn 6. Still got the inside. Big late lunge down the inside, but he's gone far too deep, and they're going to go side by side. 3 wide they go. Berryman gets a tap as well, and there's no room for Jeff Giassi. So up into second goes Marc Perez. There is João Vaz maintaining the race lead despite going wide. Berryman now looking at third here, trying to go around Laritson, but Laritson having none of it. Bit of contact there between them, and suddenly Alexei Usiakala in the train.
Incredible that we've gone from having a 3-car train to a 4-car train to a 6-car train, and potentially we could end up with a 7 or more car train out there at the moment. Great battling going on, and really, really good momentum there from Perez to take that away from Laritson there. And Perez now closing that gap up to Vaz. Vaz is just holding on here, isn't he? Just doesn't look like he's comfortable being the leader in this train. He's just doing everything he can to hold on to the position. Definitely not the fastest out of the group in regards to race pace. Just holding on and trying to hold on to this position for as long as he can.
We have seen, though, that overtakes come at a premium, and sometimes when you are at the front of the field, it's a little bit easier than in other vehicles on the iRacing service to try and defend those places. 6th, though, to the front, a battle behind Ilka Hapla and Andrew Renkoff. At the moment, they're going at it 11th and 12th, but this is where the magic is at the moment. If they're not careful, they may allow Oriol Bow back into the fight. He's in 7th position. He started in 4th, but they head themselves through turn 1, and then the smallest kink of turn 2 under the Briggs and Stratton Bridge on the brakes. Look how close Marc Perez is. It seems like Alexander Laritson's falling back ever so slightly here, but surely after a good exit there from João Vaz, he may just have the defense here, heading towards turn 5 through the Moraine Suite. And now look at this, closing the gap down is Marc Perez. Half-distance score complete. Halfway through this lap, on the brakes they go. Not close enough yet to make a move. Same said for Peter Berryman, but this is going to be a lap where people find a momentum, find a rhythm again to get themselves back into position, Jay.
I must say, well, remember...
Lockwood.
Yeah, Lockwood.
Sorry to cut your thunder like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Lockwood
all right.
down the inside, and he's got the move done on Marcio Campos.
Yep, good move. I just want to shout out to Alex Laritson as well. He's had some family issues over the last 24 hours and wasn't intending on racing at all, and he's made it out there on track. So to be racing with not good circumstances within his family, he's doing a great job. So I mean, to have it, what will be, if he's in the current position, his best result of the broadcast season so far would be great for him, with the not good moment for his family, as Perez is now closing back in again.
He is closing in again, and he's crucially keeping that gap to Laritson, the Danish driver, as they now hit themselves into Canada corner. Bill Mitchell bend comes up, the penultimate turn of this 14-turn road course, as they head through the left-hand bend, which is always understated, and then the final 90-degree right-hander, which ends the lap. And you can go side by side through that section, but you have to be close enough to make that happen, as they will start lap 6 of 11, just 6 laps to go here at this wonderful Road America course. And we've seen just how brilliant the racing's been. Ross Banfield has also lost a position now to Brian Lockwood. Lost that one around the outside of Canada corner. You can get this on Motion Simulation replay, Jay. This is a very, very good move.
We will get it up on the Motor Simulation replay. Big thanks to Motor for their support. And you can see in the VRS car, the Banfield there, and just behind Brian Lockwood, who had a few chats about this series with Brian over the past couple of weeks. This is a great move around the outside. He hasn't been too confident in these broadcast races. He's been racing a few different time slots, but decided he better get up early and start racing in them. And he's progressed his way through the field, every single one.
He has, and Laritson there had to be careful. He was side by side with Peter Berryman, who was putting a nose to the outside under brakes, trying to get the move done. Didn't quite happen through turn 5, but That's the first warning shot that Laritson's had, really, for that third position. He knows he can't afford to really lose too much. He's 6/10 back when he last crossed the line compared to Marc Perez, and suddenly he's now thinking about, well, maybe I'm not thinking about race victory, second place. Maybe I'm thinking of just barely holding on to third, as you've got the championship leader overall, you got the Porsche Esports Supercup Qualifiers leader overall behind, and you got the man 19th in the championship pretty much trying to book his place behind. It's not the best style of drivers to be racing against.
It's a tough situation he's in at the moment, isn't he? He's battling against the best of the best that we've seen throughout this series, and he's doing a decent job to hold his own. I must say, yeah, Vaz is starting looking strong, and there's a slow car just ahead. That's Wiedmeier.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Scared
Wiedmeier
me
a
too.
lap down, or 3, and that scared me a little bit, because I thought
Me
something
too.
may have happened. So
I thought it was Jassy for a second seeing the pink car.
So did I. Well, it's one thing to say we've got a case of mistaken identity. A pink car is something that you don't often see in Wiedmeier there. His night, not or day, or whatever it is for him at the moment, probably day, not quite the best that he wanted out of this one. We have had retirements, though, in this race. Adria Perez, Yumin Kin, Carl Janssen and Julian Rodriguez Moreno both won't score big points. That pretty much signs, seals and delivers it. Maximilian Wiedmeier 4 laps down now and pretty much out of this race. In case you want to know where Kim Eriksson is, he's running on his own in 19th position right now, and his vehicle is a sight for sore eyes.
Yep, that's not a very nice looking Porsche. If you're a Porsche fan, you'll be crying looking at that car right now. It does not look like a normal Porsche.
For the lead.
Wiedmeier in the pits, and here comes Perez.
Looking for the inside again. Wide, too wide goes Vaz, and Marc Perez will steal the race lead away. Just like that. Oh, look how much difference there is in braking markers. Laritsson almost ploughed straight into the rear of the Portuguese man, Vaz, and they managed to hold it together. So Marc Perez, the Spaniard, leads this one overall in the number 4 MSI Esports car. It's Vaz second, it's Laritsson in third, and with 4.5 laps to go, you now start wondering here, does Vaz have anything to fight back with, or can Marc Perez slowly whittle up a gap to about a second?
Be interesting to see how much Perez can break away here. He's probably got half a lap to break this momentum for Vaz, or else he'll start to find it back again. We've talked many, many, many times before about how it's different once you become the leader when you've been following a car for so long. This is going to be difficult for both Vaz and Perez in this phase. Wouldn't be surprised to see Laritsson throw it up the inside at turn 1 this lap.
Well, he's got to throw it up the inside, but he knows that he's got to get the move done quickly if he wants a race victory to end the broadcast season here with the iRacing Esports Network and, of course, with SimSpeed TV on this Porsche iRacing Cup. And a little tag of the grass is not going to help you there, Zhao. It's now really vulnerable immediately to the right-hand side. Up the hill they go towards the start-finish line, trying to pick up the draft. I wonder if he's gone too early ever so slightly here, has Alexander Laritsson, because he's not pulling up alongside. I think he had to sit and wait and wait and wait, but now he's got the outside line all the way through. Oh, trade some paint, why don't we, into turn 1? Mistake now from Laritsson, who has to try and settle the car. Berryman gets a freebie. Giassi's also going to get a freebie as well, and that was all down to car placement and also car control.
Good save, though, in the end there for Laritsson. I thought he was going to be in the fence. He saved it. Lost 2 spots, but he's got momentum back straight away on Giassi, and he's gone side by side again. So while he did lose 2 spots, that could have been so much worse. He could have ended up in the fence quite easily, and he could be able to steal another spot, but Berryman thinks about a look.
He does, but he won't get it, and Giassi gets it nicely done. Now Oriol Bow on the rear. Mistake from Giassi, though. Can't defend the place. Down the inside, this is where Larisson's been good. They rub some doors again, and now here they go. Here's Alexi Usiakala, the Finnish driver at Team Redline, trying to get the move done, as if Team Redline doesn't have enough Finnish drivers with Gregor Hutu and co there, likes of Olli Pakala. But now you start looking at it, again, not happening at the moment. Giassi's looking backwards, and he gets turned, and also goes up and over, as well as going through. Oriol Bow sneaks away, but Giassi, any ambitions on a championship overall, now are handed to Peter Berryman.
Yep, that's all but sealed that championship overall for Berryman. So, I mean, Berryman's deserved it too, because he has been so dominant. At what his worst position that he's finished in these broadcast races is around 5th or 6th. He's been really, really strong the whole way through. But yeah, a bit of a strange incident, that one. And Yeah, I'm not sure who you could blame for that. They both looked like they were okay, and then all of a sudden they come together. So maybe just the alternate lines there, just catching a couple of drivers out as Usiakala now holding off from cars behind. He's now under a lot of pressure.
Well, he would be, wouldn't he? He's had to spin and try and get the car back, and the tyres are going to be pretty much screaming at the moment for the number 24 machine. He's got Andrew Remkoff there, which is not going to be very helpful in terms of the way that this race is going to be run at the moment. So that's going to be key as they go up and through towards turn number 1 once again. It has now meant, though, there's a big split for the front 4 at the front of this field, and we are looking at them right now. Perez, Vaz, Berryman, and then Alexander Larrickson there in the background in 4th position. Peter Berryman would love to seal this off with a race win here with 3 laps to go, but look at the pack behind once again. We're going to see some very, very nice scrapping going on as they will head towards turn 5.
Yeah, and you can see the damage to the front of the car of Usiakala. He's now under pressure. Brian Lockwood's closed up a fair bit on that last lap. He was 2 seconds quicker than these guys in this pack last lap by, so Brian Lockwood didn't get a lap in qualifying. That's why he's so much further down the field than what you would expect. Looking at his lap times really, really hurt him in this race, and he's passed half the field already in this one. So Brian Lockwood is on a charge. It would have been good to see how he would go on up the front, because his pace is pretty equal to the leaders. So he would have been right up there in contention for a win as well. He's looking really strong.
He's looking for a top 10 though, and I think that is very possible against Ilkka Harpala, as he will maybe think here through the hurry down section towards this corner where Alexis Usiakala ran into trouble as a lap ago. Nope, no issues at all. So they will continue on their run through this field as they only have a couple of laps to go as they go through the final couple of laps in this race. So through the final few corners of the lap, they will look to try and get as many positions as they can. But look again at Brian Lockwood really up behind Ilkka Harpala right now, looking maybe at the outside's going to be the place to get it done. Yep, it's going to have to be that place again here, Brian. So let's see how good you are on the brakes. They're going to challenge in on and try and run around the outside again. Great run off of the exit, and once more Brian Lockwood around the outside. It seems he's found himself his move.
It's 2 from 2 for him there too. It's a good little spot to get a move done because it's very unexpected. And we often see, and we've seen throughout this series, that guys defend too aggressively up the inside are getting passed around the outside. The guys that have got some grip in their tyres and some heat into their tyres have been able to hold it around the outside. So I think we're going to see when we get to the Porsche Esports Supercup in a couple of weeks' time, when the warm-up event is on and the series starts proper in a couple of months, that guys going around the outside towards the end of races is going to be a very, very viable strategy call in getting moves done.
It certainly will do. I just want to give a shout out at the moment to Gianni Vecchio. We haven't seen much of him today, but he started 23rd, and proof of what his pace was an hour ago, he is now up into 6th place after starting from the back. He booked his place an hour ago, and now he is absolutely flying for red line.
They started 23rd, up 17 places, and we usually see a Team Redline car making moves through the field, but it's not usually a blue one, it's usually an orange one. So it's usually Max that's making the moves, but Vecchio's channeling his inner Max with Max not being here this week. So good to see him making so many moves. His pace could mean that he could catch Bo maybe with a couple of corners to go. So I keep forgetting that we're almost at the end of the race. It just feels like I'm getting into a groove for this race, and all of a sudden we're nearly over. Perez, Vaz, Berryman, they've started to drop Alex Lauritsen now to around about 1.5 seconds back, but they're about to get the white flag. Here we go. Last lap, only 7Ks left in the season. How will this go as Lockwood actually gets another move done at Canada Corner again?
Yeah, another good move then from Brian Lockwood as the white flag flies for Marc Perez as he gets it going and tries to get one more. That was Andrew Rakoff who's lost the position, and Brian Lockwood now inside the top 10. Towards turn number 1, they come along. Yao Vaz tucked up underneath, 0.2 of a second only the gap. He is in position, he's been sitting, he's been waiting, as has the Apex Racing Team driver, Peter Berryman, as they go through the championship overall leader, the overall champion, come the end of this race. And now you start seeing where the draft's going to come into play. Look at this, a car length between them at the moment under the Sargento Bridge, and now they make that run to 5. Already slightly looking defensive here as the MSI Esports driver in front, the Spaniard Marc Perez. On the brakes they go. Who's got the better run? And it seems that Baz is stuck on the outside. He can't get it done. Berryman might have a nose to the inside to steal second position. He does not, though, up into turn 6. So now you're really struggling to try and find some places. Hope for a mistake maybe, and it might just have to happen down at Canada Corner, of all places, to try and get it done. Berryman not close enough here through the hurry down section, and on the brakes you can see how much he closes up to that GT3 Cup car. Big wiggle, and all of a sudden opportunity does not knock anymore for Peter Berryman. He's now back 8/10. One vehicle turnaround though in the background, didn't quite catch who that was. It's Greg Stewart who's gone around, and that is a shame to see. But now you start looking towards the final couple of corners now for Marc Perez, as he has held off Yao Vaz in the second half of this one. Vaz has been staunch in his defense, but just was not staunch enough as they head to Canada Corner and the end of the season approaches. Marc Perez, he was pretty much all but safe, but he was not guaranteed. He needed to book his place here today, and he's done exactly what he's needed to, and a little bit more, as he rounds Bill Mitchell-Ben for the MSI Esports team and heads for the final corner. Marc Perez seals off his qualification in style with victory here at the wonderful Porsche iRacing Cup race here at Road America. Behind that, Yao Vaz and Peter Berryman, your overall champion in the Porsche iRacing Cup. He'll be ecstatic with the way that he has run this race today. A race which, for the championship and for qualification purposes, was over right before it started.
But what a season we've had. We've had all sorts of records broken. Remember the race at Charlotte, we had the highest ever strength of field on iRacing in the history of the iRacing service, so that was incredible. It's been a season that's been filled with highlights, lowlights, ups and downs, all sorts of emotions, and it's been an incredible series. And it's been great to be a part of it. Congratulations to everyone who has qualified into that top 20. Congratulations to Peter Berryman on the championship overall. What a season we've had.
A fantastic season, and it's wrapped up with a nice, neat bow as they head themselves over the line, the final few drivers. So we'll get official classified results, and there is Greg Stewart's number 19, absolutely hammered at the moment. But there's Marc Perez's victory. His margin half a second come the end over Yao Vaz in second position. Peter Berryman picking up third, but a mistake has cost him a shot at second or higher. Alexander Larrickson, though, he gets fourth position with Oriol Boe in fifth position overall. He had a quiet race. Gianni Vecchio, though, your biggest mover and shaker, up into sixth place. Another quiet day for the XCM Anatolia car. That's Ganoso Tzdalen, who is there in seventh. Danny Corpi as well, a quiet race into eighth. He was being chased down come the end by Alexei Usiakala, but he ran out of time as Brian Lockwood would round out the top 10.
Go over the page to Happler in 11th position, Rokoff in 12th position. These guys we didn't get too much screen time for because of the battles at the front. Skender in 13th with Banfield and Campos next, then Rodriguez and Kim Eriksson way back in 17th. Good to see that he finished the race. Unfortunate end to his season. And then we've got Bursk and Stewart, the last drivers on the lead lap. Then we've got Giassi, Vietmeyer, Perez, Janssen, Marino and Kim all out. 4 of those on the very first lap, 2 of those from the turn 1 incident, which we didn't actually get to see, and unfortunately my replays are not working well enough tonight to be able to bring that one, so apologies for that. But what a race, what a season.
What a race, what a season indeed, and you got to talk about how good of a season it was, because you had a look from every single race. There was opportunities, there were big fights up and down the order. I don't think we had really a terrible race, so to speak, in terms of the action that these guys put on for a show. You'd probably say that even if those 20 drivers who are already qualified in the Porsche Esports Supercup through last year's results weren't going to have a Porsche Esports Supercup, there'd still be an absolutely fantastic Porsche Esports Supercup.
Yeah, exactly. It's I mean, if we just had the 20 drivers or the 40 odd drivers that we've had throughout the season just racing, it'd be incredible. Add in the top 20 that we've had from last season continuing over, it's going to be an incredible season, and it's going to be right here on the iRacing Esports Network and iRacing.com starting in May, I believe.
Well, the month of May has a lot of things for it, including the iRacing Indy 500, but many things can happen, and it's going to be well worth the wait, I do believe, for so many drivers up and down the field. So, confirmation then of the drivers who have qualified themselves into the next championship and the overall championship. Jeff Giassi, Alexander Thebe, Thibaut Calzabon, Mac Backham, Sindre Setzels, Matti Kaidasoya, Dane Warren, Jonas Vollmeyer, Marin Cholak, Valtteri Alander, Gianni Vecchio, Josh Anderson, Brian Lockwood, Ricardo Castrolado, Johan Haas, Christopher Danbeats, Max Verstappen, Mark Perez, Alexei Usiakala, and Carl E. Janssen. Those are the 20 that have booked their places for the month of May and the start of a brand new Porsche Esports Supercup season. You will not want to miss that on the iRacing Esports Network, as well as all the action that goes on our channel. Make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe for more great sim racing content. But on top of that, there's stuff that's going to be happening this weekend in terms of SimSpeeds action here on IESN, one of which is the second round of the V8 Scops Championship, heading to Sonoma Raceway, and of course a brand new dawn, a brand new era. You got to see if James Scott can continue his form after winning the opening round of the championship. And on top of that, to cap it all off, Monday Night V8, they'll be back, of course, here at Sonoma for more racing action. But from Jay Kennedy, from myself, Jake Sperry, the season comes to a close. Berryman may be the overall champion. He may prove that he was absolutely flawless, but how much will he have wanted to have raced last year and booked his place back in? He's clearly the capable driver. Giassi will smile, though. He'll be very happy that he is first qualifier into the championship. He will be the name that everyone will be looking at for the overall. But on top of that, you've got Formula One drivers, former ETCC and WTCC drivers in that field. You've got some of the biggest names rising up like Dane Warren, Jonas Vollmeyer, who's been around the block for a very long time. And of course, on top of that, you've got some brilliant racing coming up. Make sure you subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network, as we will see you very soon.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rhythm, both of them! Maloney! Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
It's very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, here we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?